I have all sorts of notes on this, but I'm living it every day now. Every day. To be Jewish in this country now is an out-of-body experience on what's going on. My grandmother escaped the Holocaust. She was part of the Kindertransport out of Germany. Parents were killed in Auschwitz, lost all sorts of other family in Poland. And this is not comparable to that. But the very beginnings of that are very comparable, right? Because you gotta dehumanize them first, right? You gotta make them others. You gotta make them feel like they don't belong, right? You gotta make them feel, you gotta make other people feel, you gotta build coalitions, you gotta build consensus that, the Jews don't belong. And I wanna be clear. This theory out there that, you can be anti-Zionist or you can be anti-Israel and not be anti-Semitic. I would say that theoretically you could, but that is not what's happening. It is not what's happening. You can absolutely go criticize a government. Great, wonderful, we do it here. But that is not what's happening. It wasn't what was happening on university campuses. I went to Columbia, as did Mr. Goldman, during Passover to be with those students. That was not what was happening when they were holding up signs saying, go back to Poland. It's nothing to do with Netanyahu. And people were silent. And Jewish families across the country knew the stuff that was going on college campuses. Okay, if that was happening with any other minority group, it wouldn't have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. I have police outside my house 24 hours a day. You think that's because of Netanyahu? Right, my kids, death threats against them. I had an assassination attempt by a resident, guy that was picked up, gonna go to jail for a decade, right? Had an anti-Semitic manifesto. My name was the target, was Googling where my wife worked, was Googling wind resistance and distance, had a scope, had a vest, had hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and had a sniper. So I know what's going on in this country. But I would tell you, there is one thing that is uniting the left and the right, and that is Jews. This is not just a problem on the left. Go look what's going on social media on the woke right. It isn't just some Nazis in a basement anymore, okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene is holding up the Antisemitism Awareness Act because she wants to be able to say the Jews killed Jesus. So this is a problem in both of our houses, and pretending it is not is one of the reasons why we're not cleaning it up, because we're just saying, you over there or you over there. This is not going well for Jews right now. And it isn't getting better, by the way. We have not yet peaked to where this is gonna go. And yeah, we can talk about the legacy media all day long, Mr. Schneider, but that's not where we're losing the youth of this country. We're losing them on TikTok, which is owned by a foreign country, that the president now has extended beyond what the law has allowed. I don't want TikTok to go away, but I want it to get out of the hands of the Chinese, okay? They are doing the Nazi playbook. They are dividing us. They are fomenting. They don't need to do it with B-2 bombers. That's not what the Chinese plan is. The Chinese is to get us to fighting amongst ourselves. The Chinese plan is to get us angry and divisive. And the Chinese plan is to start with the easiest target possible, and that is us. And so until we stop doing this, who did what to who stuff, okay? We're not gonna solve this. Jews are losing their usual allies, those allies that we've had for decades and decades and decades, groups that Jews have stood up for. We're losing them by the moment, especially amongst young people. So, I'm called a foreign asset, right? That I'm a foreign lobbyist. I mean, it's just endless. Go look, any post I put up, the hatred, the vitriol that's going on. And so I appreciate this hearing, Mr. Chairman, but this hearing ain't gonna fix shit, okay? This is a virus that is spreading. And until we're serious about stopping what's going on online and the brainwashing of our kids, this is going to get worse, and more people are going to die in this country, and it is going to be us. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
If the gentleman would yield for just a quick second.
If the chairman would allow me just an extra 15 seconds, Mr. Chairman?
If we'll record everything, or maybe there'll be a chance further on down the road, but in all fairness, if I give it to you, then I have to give it to all the members.
I understand. I won't say that was
And
anti-Semitic.
we'll be here along. It's not. I think you know.
A little humor doesn't hurt. A little humor doesn't hurt. Okay?
We don't agree. He is a funny guy. I tell him that all the time. He's
Little humor
got a
doesn't
great
hurt.
sense of humor in all times. But, and you know that I agree with some of what you said. But I'm going to yield some time to myself, and then Mr. Schmidt will come in the next round. But I wanted to address some of those things. So I've really attempted to do this hearing in as nonpartisan a way as I possibly can. And I would agree with Mr. Moskowitz that there is some fault on the right. There's no question. We have some extreme right wing. And I'm conservative. I'm a very conservative person. But there's no room for this on any side. But some of the examples that are given of how this administration is anti-Semitic or done the wrong thing by Jews, in general, I don't buy that. I really don't. Let me be clear. Some of the government-funded agencies were promoting anti-Semitic, anti-equality. I don't use equity, I use equality proposals. Let me be clear. Many universities, Ms. Cooper, you and I have spoken about it. I mean, my university, I graduated undergraduate. I went to dental school after, but undergraduate. I'm just pouring out my heart here. I don't have this all written down. I went to Rutgers University. I'm proud of Rutgers. It's a good school. It's a good public school. Some of the things that are said and are going on, some of the professors that are tenured, you've got to be kidding me. So I would say the same thing to my friends on the left, on the Democrat side, whatever you want to say. Don't tell me that you don't see that, because if you don't, then your eyes are closed. We have a real problem. Want to talk about a real problem? We got a real problem in our universities. We've got a real problem in our colleges. We've got a real problem with what we're teaching young kids. There is a desire to change the fabric and structure of the United States of America. And this is one of the number of ways they want to go about it. Our healthcare system, I think it was Mr. Marcus, I'm not sure, Mr. Schneider mentioned, even our healthcare system doesn't really exhibit equality and has gone after Jews. Some of the DEI policies weren't DEI policies for everyone, and I don't even like the policies to begin with. Equality for everyone, absolutely. Opportunity for everyone, but some of them were inherently anti-Jewish. Corporation policies they were actually promoting were anti-Jew, anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic. Let's tell the truth. It's tell the truth time. Media policies, I mean, I notice this all the time. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be partisan, damn it. I just see it. I see the coverage of things. I see when I'm at a meeting, and I understand you should cover both. You should cover the right. You should cover the left. Universities should cover everything. But allowing hate and venom and a call to violence, some of these young people are influenced by that. And the most ironic part of it all is in these universities and colleges, the very people who are doing the anti-Jewish propaganda would never be anti-United States government and recommending, again, it's their right to speak out, but to do in a way that encourages violence and pain and hurt is wrong. And my God, if they were in any of these countries that they're promoting, some of these countries women can't drive, some of these countries women can't show their face, some of these countries, if you're gay, you'll be killed. Let's tell the damn truth. Since Mr. Moskowitz wants to tell the truth, and I know he does, and I respect him, but let's tell the truth on this.
Would the gentleman yield for a minute?
In a second. And let's be also clear, we're trying to, and I get you don't like President Trump. I get it, I do, you don't, it's okay. There's differences on the right and left, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. But the statistics that we're using, because it takes a number of years to actually develop them, are not from when he was even in the presidency. They are from when Joe Biden was the president of the United States, and I'm not going to lay that on Joe Biden's feet either. But the point is, to push that all on President Trump is inherently unfair. So let's stop it. And I know, Mr. Moskowitz, you say that this isn't enough, but damn it, we had to start somewhere. You know, I wish I had more time because I can't overuse my time either. But Ms. Cooper, I'm going to ask you questions real quickly, and I just want a yes or a no. Are universities that tolerate harassment of Jewish students violating their obligations under Title VI, yes or no? Has the threat environment on campus escalated tremendously, including Rutgers, and I hope somebody from Rutgers, including the new president, is watching, since October 7th, 2023, yes or no?
Yes.
Has the Trump administration strengthened enforcement of Title VI through investigations, et cetera, yes or no?
Yes.
Should colleges that allow open support for terrorist groups like Hamas on their campuses be subject to loss of federal funding, yes or no?
Yes.
What are the consequences of university administrators when they treat chants like From the River to the Sea as protected speech instead of addressing them as threats? Is that right, yes or no?
It's not right.
Not right. Should student groups that glorify terrorist organizations face disciplinary questions and consequences? Yes or no?
Yes, and more.
Do you believe that some of the current federal civil rights enforcement tools are too slow or too weak for modern campus anti-Semitism?
Very weak, yes.
Okay, thank you. I yield my time back. Next is, and we ask the ranking member from the great state of Texas, as she always likes to point out, right?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And as I was listening to Mr. Moskowitz, it reminded me of the reason that I started off the remarks the way that I did when I talked about being united. He mentioned the alliances, and as a civil rights attorney, you can't come up in the civil rights world and not be told about the alliance that existed, the alliance that has been oftentimes referred to as the Grand Alliance between Black and Jewish Americans. And there's an article that has some really great information in it. But what I want to get to is this one part, because I do want to yield more time to my colleagues. It says, the end we seek is a society at peace with itself, a society that can live with its conscience, and that will be a day not of the white man, not of the Black man, that will be the day of man as man. And this was in reference, this was a quote from King, Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King marched with so many amazing Jewish leaders, and they came together for the purpose of moving forward in this country, and it was a great Texan that signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965 into law just a few months after Dr. King was quoted as saying this. And the reason that I bring this up is because when we start to talk about policy, I do want to be clear that this administration has been very clear that it is anti-DEI. And while they have defined things such as DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, to be basically Black, if you just Google, it will tell you that it refers to the presence of differences among people encompassing various characteristics like age, race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and more. The reality is that there was a time in which our leaders understood that marching together for civil rights would somehow lead to the liberty and the freedom of all. And that is really where I want us to get, instead of saying that it's okay to love and support one group and hate another. We need to come together and stand against hate as a whole. And I will yield to Mr. Moskowitz.
Thank you, Ranking Member. Just 30 seconds. Mr. Chairman, I know what's going on in the universities, I promise. I've been there, right? I know the foreign money that has come into these universities. I know programs that are being taught there. No one is denying that that's the deal, and it's by design. It's to go after the youth, right? It's targeted, okay? And, you know, maybe the left is a couple of years ahead of you, but I want you to understand this is not a partisan problem. What you saw, okay, in this strike in Iran, if you look at social media, I want you to understand that there are a lot of people on the woke right that it turned out they hated Jews more than they liked the president, and they picked a side. That's how much they hated Jews. And it is people, yes, there's all sorts of bots on Twitter, but it is people with millions of followers, and they are brainwashing. And so now it's happening on both sides, okay? And you know what's happening? It's coming like this. It starts over here, and then it goes, and then it goes, and then you have consensus. And that's where we're headed. And so I'm not debating with you that you're not correct, but I want you to open your mind to understanding that this is a problem everywhere now. I'll yield back.
And I will yield to Mr. Goldman.
And thank you to the ranking member. And I'll pick up on where Mr. Moskowitz, Mr. Chairman, as you may know, I'm the co-chair of the Bipartisan Anti-Semitism Task Force. And I will make a deal with you. I will call out all the anti-Semitism that I see on the extreme left if you lead by example and call out all the anti-Semitism you see on the extreme right. Because the more that we go back and forth and accuse the other of being worse and try to prop up, what this administration has done on Title VI or on DOJ or whatever the litany of questions that you asked Ms. Cooper, the less we are able to tackle the problem. The reality is that, unfortunately, this administration has decided to move its enforcement of Title VI from the Department of Education and OCR, which Mr. Marcus led in the first Trump administration, and Mr. Nosenchuk was a deputy in the last administration, and now it's to DOJ. Now, you can make an argument, as Ms. Cooper will likely make, that that's a stronger cudgel against anti-Semitism. That may be the case, but it moves a lot slower. And so I would urge us to talk about how we can tackle this problem, because it's got to be through both. We need a robust Office of Civil Rights that can move quickly to investigate anti-Semitism on campus and remedy the problem before we get to litigation, which takes a very, very long time. And what I hope we can do is recognize that to address the issue on the substance, we have to take the politics out of it. Because yes, you may have Harvard or Columbia or Penn, and that may get a lot of attention, and it may seem like you're really cracking down on anti-Semitism. But Mr. Nosenchuk can correct me, there were almost 200 complaints of anti-Semitism that were filed to the Office of Civil Rights during the last administration. At one point, there was an average of 51 investigations per employee at the Office of Civil Rights. Nobody can do 51 investigations. So let's get to the bottom of the substance here rather than try to put one party ahead of the next. And I say this as somebody who, like Mr. Moskowitz, is eager and open to calling out the anti-Semitism that occurs on the extreme left on campuses. And I will continue to do that. And I will be a leader in calling out my own party. But we need people on both sides to be calling out anti-Semitism on both sides in order for us to address this. And I thank you for the extra time, and I yield back.
Thank you. And rest assured, when I see anti-Semitism, I'm willing to work hand in hand with folks on both sides of the aisle. Today's attempt, the resolution that I did on the floor, today's attempt as well, there's no doubt that there's fault that can be found on both sides. But there is fault on both sides. I don't want it to be that just everything Trump is bad, everything Trump is wrong. This all came because of Trump. This came from a variety of things happening at once. It's a very challenging time in America for people of Jewish descent. It just is. It's a serious thing. This is no joke. And I will agree with you that this is no joke. It should be beyond partisanship. We never seem to succeed in Congress to be beyond partisanship. Maybe this can be an example of where we will. I am absolutely willing to give it a shot.